As you can imagine, this gathering in Durban, the SA AIDS conference, we believe is the second largest HIV gathering in the world, would gather interested parties from various quarters, including the Treatment Action Campaign, which is a group that was founded December 1998 and to fight for access to AIDS treatment. So 20 years on, they still continue with their fight, and they were there. And to tell us a little bit about their experience of this year's conference, I'm now joined from our Durban studios by Sibongile Tshabalala, who's the National Chairperson of Treatment Action Campaign. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so it's been another gathering, another days of deliberation. As the Treatment Action Campaign, how would you look back at the last few days of this year's SA AIDS conference?
For us, it's just another conference. It's just another place where people will gather and we talk about HIV. Although we were, as Treatment Action Campaign, we were raising so many challenges like the issue of stock shortages and corruption within provincial government. But we've been hearing the promises from the government all over the years, and we are not sure what will change in the future. And by the look of things, as you heard the Deputy President, we are not winning the fight against HIV. So it worries us to have such conferences, but at the end of the day, we don't reach the targets that we set as a country.
All right, so treatment is what you're about, and you monitor the hospitals and the clinics to make sure that citizens get access to treatment. Donald Trump a few months ago threatened to cut funding to South Africa's HIV program, citing that it wasn't performing well. Is that something that you concur with, that we're not doing well with our HIV program in South Africa?
Yes, we are not doing well. We are not doing well if today we still lose about 250,000 per annum of people living with HIV. We are not doing well if we still have high infection rate of young people with HIV. We are not doing well if we go to facilities as people living with HIV and still not find our treatment, or we experience shortages now and again. So we are not doing well. If we were doing well, we could have said at least out of more than 7 million people, we have more than half people that are on treatment, or 80% of people who are living with HIV are on treatment and are adhering to their treatment, and their viral load is suppressed. So we are not yet there, because the numbers that we have, we are talking about only the half of people who are living with HIV that are on treatment. And out of those numbers, we know we have large number of people who are not adhering to their treatment, and the stock out and staff shortages and the healthcare system is part of challenges that we are facing as people living with HIV.
All right, so what do you think is causing these stock issues and other problems holding us back, achieving our potential of making sure that everybody is taken care of?
There's not enough political will from the top, and the broken healthcare system is playing the major role in making us not to move forward as a country. Maladministration, corruption, it plays a role. And those who are corrupt within the Department of Health are not held accountable. Like, for instance, the Life City strategy, we know Brian Hlonga stole money from Gauteng, but nothing has happened. And people are continuing to steal money from HIV and AIDS. Now we are facing a state capture against AIDS funding. So we cannot win while people are enriching their pockets instead of fighting the disease.
Now, one of the things that you did at this particular conference is that you marched in protest against Janssen Pharmaceuticals. Tell us about why you did that and what the story is really about these kinds of marches.
We marched to Johnson & Johnson because as we know that in South Africa is one of the countries that are affected with TB, MDR-TB and XDR-TB. So Johnson & Johnson has a medication which we call periqualin. Periqualin, it's easier to take, and it has lesser side effects to people with MDR-TB. So that drug is very expensive. So it's not available in the public sector. And in those sites that is available, it's only given to few patients. So as Treatment Action Campaign and our partners, or as PHIV sector, we are saying Johnson & Johnson, they should reduce the price of periqualin so that our government can be able to buy and provide as many as they can in the country.
So what you're calling for is the removal of patents on some of these important drugs so that they can be much cheaper. I believe that this drug you're talking about costs something like 5,000 Rand for 6 months per person. But a university in Liverpool said that it could be sold profitably at 120 Rand to 240 Rand. And I guess this is the battle that you're fighting.
If you can look at the difference of the prices that you just mentioned now, it's not even 10 times more. It's 100% or 200% more than what it costs in other countries. So we can't afford that. And if it's available in other countries less than 200 Rand, why can't we have it in South Africa? Why it's still under patent? Hence, we are pushing also for our government to finalize the draft policy on the patent laws in the country.
All right, so a word to Dr. Mkhize, the new health minister. The Motsoaledi era is behind us. What are your hopes and expectations from the new minister? If you had his ear today, what would you say to him?
I would say to him, he needs to work with civil society, especially people living with HIV, because we know better what is happening. This is our lives. And also he needs to prioritize to fix the broken healthcare system, because people on the ground are frustrated. The issue of shortage of staff, it needs to be addressed as quick as possible. The issue of infrastructure in facilities, it needs to be addressed. Those are the priorities that I will say he needs to deal with. Also the issue of shortages of medicine, especially injectable contraceptives and Dumiva, which is very essential.
All right, Sibongile Tshabalala, thank you very much indeed. We're going to leave it there, and we wish you the best of luck in the next 20 years of the Treatment Action Campaign's work. Thank you so much for your time.
Right, thank you very much.
All right, that was Sibongile Tshabalala, the National Chairperson of the Treatment Action Campaign, joining us from our studios in Durban, and saying that we've certainly got a lot to still do in terms of treating and preventing HIV in the country.